Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Awakening Ways Spiritual Community. Awakening Ways is a New Thought spiritual community in the lineage of Dr. Ernest Holmes. We're a community that believes in the golden thread of truth and life in all great spiritual traditions. That there is this thread of mysticism that runs throughout all religion. And that thread of mysticism is not about knowledge, it's about consciousness. And it's the consciousness of mysticism that connects us to the one within us. The mystical thread in all great religions teaches us that we are always one with spirit, that spirit is in all as all, that we are one with it, and that nothing else exists but spirit. And so at Awakening Ways, we try to help you to awaken to that spirit within you, to that divine within you, in a whole variety of ways, through Sunday talks like this, in better times, through classes and workshops, and we're going to be picking those up again on Zoom in January, when we're going to have several workshops that are going to be going on. And Terry and I are going to be starting another class in January. We'll announce it a little bit later. So that the classes help you to have the knowledge that you need, so that when you have the mystical experience, you understand what it is that you're having. In addition to that, we have this wonderful music program that Jimmy has put together with the groups, and also we have guidance and counseling available through the practitioners who do powerful prayer work, spiritual counseling at the most deep soul level, with powerful prayer work by our practitioners, either by turning in a prayer request or on a one-to-one basis. So all of us came here by different routes this morning, this lifetime. We came here on our own unique path. And that unique path is the path that is right for us. I have always said the only true religion, the only perfect religion, the only right religion is the one that brings you to God, that brings you to spirit. No other is the true religion. And it may be Christianity, it may be Buddhism, it may be Hinduism, it may be this. But each and every one of us have walked the path of our own personal spirituality and our own personal religion to get here. Whatever your path has been to get here this morning, wherever you go when you leave here this morning, right now we are called together by divine appointment. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. I want to invite you now to join me as we prepare for Timber Hawkeye's wonderful talk this morning. We move into the stillness, into the silence, and know that there's one divine source of all good, by whatever name we call it, or by no name at all. It is the one and only consciousness and life expression of the universe. It is in us, it is through us, it is us. And so I declare for each and every one of us this morning, as we join in this wonderful meeting of consciousness, that spirit moving through Timber, moving through our musicians, and moving through each of us here present, raises all of us to a higher vibration of truth than we've ever been raised to before. I give thanks for that. I know that it is so, and I say, and so it is.
I know you and alone in the world. Walk with me in the gentle rain. Don't be afraid, I'm a hand for your hand, and I will be your mom for a while. I feel your tears as they fall on my cheek. They are warm like the gentle rain. Come, little one, you are here in my world, and our time will be sweet, very sweet. Come, little one, I am here in your world, and our time will be sweet, very sweet, like the gentle rain, like the gentle rain. Like the
Good morning. I really like the way we started this morning about the possibility of living in the mysticism in line with spirit. I recently shared online that when life gives you exactly what you asked for, it also sends you a distraction to see if you will take the gift for granted. And I've had this experience happen many times in my life that I'm given two options. One is very much in line with the person I want to become, the person I want to be, and one often is a distraction. It's a very appealing invitation to veer off the path and choose something else. And it could present itself in many different ways. When I took the monastic vows, when I even took the celibacy vow, I've never been hit on more often than after I decided to be celibate. And it was just like, really? Where were all of you when I wasn't? um, and I want to actually take you a little farther back to when I changed my life intentionally. And that's very different from saying, I want to take you to when my life changed to when I changed my life. So we all are forced to change our lives very often. And that's life doing its own thing because everything changes and we merely play along. That's us just kind of accommodating the flow of life. But I want to talk about when I kind of put the brakes on and changed my life. So a very a big example of this was when I decided to step off the corporate wheel, the corporate world, the rat race, so to speak, and leave Seattle and move to Hawaii with a single intention to lead a simple and uncomplicated life. Well, the moment I made that decision, again, life gives you exactly what you asked for, but it also sends you a distraction. So I put all the plans in place to move to Hawaii. I had it all laid out. And the law firm where I was working said, "What can we do to get you to stay? We'll double your pay. You can work from home if you want, or you can come in and you don't have to dress up. Like you can just be you'll be the only paralegal working with one attorney. What can we do?" And I'm like, nothing. I am committed to to dropping all of this, the appeal of more pay and the fluorescent lights and in and out of court, just and moving to Hawaii. There's nothing you can throw my way to distract me from my path. And I did it, and I'm so glad I did it. And I think life also gives you kind of a nod, in a way, saying, "Good call," you know. And what I mean by that is, a year later, I had kept in touch with the old attorney I used to work for. And as it turned out, the law firm actually ended up closing their commercial real estate department. And even my own attorney lost his job. So I would have lost my job anyway. So it was just like, way to go, way to stay on path. And it happened later on when I had a condo and I decided I don't want this. I want to leave and just move into a monastery and just not be attached to anything that would serve as an anchor, so to speak. I want to be able to be free. Well, this was during the time when everyone was applying for those loan modifications because of the crisis and all. And I decided to sell it, to be done with it and just be free. And a day before we closed on the condo, I received that letter from the government with the loan modification saying, "Congratulations, you've been approved. Your new mortgage is going to be $300 a month." We're talking about a condo in Hawaii. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This could be incredible. But wait a minute, this isn't what I want. I don't want a condo. I don't want an anchor. It doesn't matter how appealing or inviting it may seem. This isn't in line with the kind of life I want to lead. And now I almost expect those temptations to show up to test me. And when I posted this online, that when life gives you exactly what you ask for, it also sends you a distraction to see if you will take the gift for granted. Someone asked, well, how do you know which is the gift and which is the distraction? They're both so appealing. And is the job offer in Seattle, is that the gift, or is that the distraction? Because it sounds on the surface very appealing. I believe the way to distinguish between the gift and the distraction is to ask ourselves which one is in line with my values, because that will be the gift. The distraction will be that which pulls me off the path, veers me away from where I want to be. And I want to be very clear that you can't technically make a wrong decision. There is no wrong choice. There is no wrong turn. It's a detour. If what I have so much faith and trust that what is meant for me will never miss me, and that which misses me was not meant for me. So we cannot cheat our purpose any more than we can cheat death. We will bump up against it again and again and again. And yeah, we can delay it. We can take a whole lot of detours and drive around it in circles, but our purpose is still our purpose. And that's how I can tell the difference between what is intended for me and what is a distraction. Is, will it get me to live more in line with my purpose? Will it get me to live a life of intention? Will it keep me on the path? Will it keep me one with the divine? Or is it pulling me away? In fact, I remember a friend once told me that he's like, you know what, I'm not going to date. ever again, because whenever I start dating, then my primary relationship with God goes to the back burner, and my relationship takes, the lead role. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep God as my primary relationship. And I said, well, and it's funny for me to have said this because I'm the one who took the celibacy vow and I was the one, but I said, wait, don't give up on relationships yet. Um, you could actually be in a relationship with someone who helps you stay on the path, who helps you make sure that God remains your primary purpose, that makes sure that you don't veer off your path. That is a healthy relationship. That is not a distraction. That is, you can even call it a community, a congregation of two, as two people who are committed to helping one another stay focused. If our relationship veers you off the path, then then it's then it's pulling you away from your purpose, if that makes sense. So when I said that online, again, when I said life gives you exactly what you asked for, but it also sends you a distraction to see if you will take it for granted. Someone said, well, since when does life give you exactly what you asked for? And I'm like, since the moment you start being grateful for it. And what I mean by that, when I was growing up in school, if we kids decided to misbehave and pick on other children, we would take like markers or pens or highlighters and we'd throw it across the room and hit somebody with it. And the teacher will take our highlighter and keep it. And I thought, I was like, wait, that's mine. And the teacher said, if you threw it away, then that means you don't need it or want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thrown it away. So, since when does life give you exactly what you want? From the moment you are grateful for it. It's in gratitude. That for which we have gratitude is that which we will increase more of in our lives. And that's which take for granted just drops, because it's like if we threw the marker away, we must not need it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's life paying attention to our behavior, not to what we're saying we appreciate and love and care about. And it's, Gandhi said, our actions convey our priorities. And I've never heard a quote that stings more than that, because it's so true. It's our actions that convey our priorities. You may say, oh, I really appreciate my family, or I really appreciate leisurely time and time off, to relax and all of that. But your actions are 70 hours at the office, or it's prioritizing. So, you can say, I really appreciate my health, and yet your actions are actually contributing to your disease, not to your health. Am I making sense? That the life serves as a mirror, reflecting right back to you what you invest in it. And the gifts in your life are the ROI, the return on investment. I don't know. As I'm saying this, I'm seeing this cyclical relationship with life itself, with mysticism itself, with the universe, with God, with whatever you want to call it. It's not one way. It's not even a two-way. It's a roundabout. And it's cyclical, and it just keeps feeding itself, circulating, recirculating, repurposing, recycling, and just giving more of what works and taking away what doesn't. And we are in it and of it. And there's this beautiful responsibility that we have for the gifts in our own lives. And I'm not suggesting that if we are not living in alignment, then we get punished. It's not about reward and punishment. It's about, like, the story of the two wolves. that which we feed gets bigger, and that which we don't just dies. It's the when people have a lot of fear in their lives, they often come to me and they're like, how do I, I'm trying to subdue my fear. I'm trying to get out of my ego. I'm trying to get out of my head and live my purpose. I'm trying to do that. But they're spending so much time trying to destroy the fear, trying to destroy the ego, which just gives the fear and the ego more room to grow. It gives it exactly what it needs, attention. And that which you focus on grows. So I love that quote that says, feed your faith and all your fears will starve to death. It's kind of like Kundalini yoga. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's a lot of breath work. And I was going to, when I give these talks in person, I tell people, don't try to do this right now because we're all sitting in the same room, but we're all in our own home. So you can try this right now. So one of the things in Kundalini yoga is breath of fire. It's when you breathe very, 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 very quickly. It's like, and if you try really hard to inhale and exhale as fast as you can, go ahead and try. It's very, very, very difficult because you're trying to inhale and exhale and inhale. You don't need to worry about the inhalation. You just exhale as quickly as possible through your nose. The inhalation happens automatically. You're not responsible for that. And I truly believe God or the universe works very similarly. We don't need to worry so much about vacuuming, sucking, inviting blessings into our lives. We don't need to search for good energy. It's all around us. We need to take inventory of what is in our way, what is detrimental to us, and do away with that. And by clearing out the toxic, if you would, we make room for the beneficial. Gosh, this is so difficult without us all in the same room because I have no idea if I'm making sense. I would love to turn this into more of a discussion if you guys are up for it, and if someone can moderate, if you want to raise your blue hand and have something to say. But I just want to make sure that what I'm saying makes sense about that life gives you both kind of the blessing and the distraction, and then leaves it up to you to veer your life, to stir your life. It's the free choice that we've been given. I'm not seeing any blue hands, guys. You got to help me out.
Okay, so let me moderate this for you, Timber. It's Terry.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you a question? Because
Yeah,
you're
please,
moving along, you're moving along so great, and I don't want to interfere with this flow. But I want to go back to the sharing of where you talked about the distractions, and that you looked in your life and you said, okay, this is basically what you said was, no, this is a distraction and I'm going to stay true to my course. What about the times when you realized, oh man, I responded to the distraction, and I know that now I responded to the distraction instead of staying on the course. So now you're in it. You're in the distraction instead of where you probably should be. What kinds of things can you do to help yourself just be with that?
That is such a wonderful, wonderful question, because it doesn't often occur to me that when people do that, when they get distracted and they're in the distraction, oftentimes they come to me and they say, I feel stuck. Like and that stuckness is born from what is that? There's a psychological term for it, where you make a decision and you feel like, well, that's done. I've already decided this. This happened actually not that long ago when some friends wanted to go out to dinner. I guess it was a long time ago because this is pre-COVID. and we pulled up in front of the Mexican restaurant in Morro Bay. It was Taco Temple. And because we talked about it, and we pull up and we're in the parking lot, and I turned to my friend who was visiting from out of town, and I go, does this sound okay? And she's like, well, I'm actually really not that into Mexican, but we're already here. And I'm like, so what? We haven't gotten out of the car. We haven't sat down. We haven't ordered the food. We haven't, because I've even done this, like, already in the restaurant, already been served water. Heck, give me the chips and salsa, and then look at the menu and go, this isn't really what I want. But most people will say, well, I'm already here, I might as well. But I was in the car and I said, we don't have to get out of the car. We just drove down to Elephant Thai, or Thai Elephant. I always forget which one it's called, in Morro Bay. And we ate there instead. And it was wonderful. And we joked all night about how quickly we were inclined to do exactly what you were just saying. We ended up where we don't really want to be, but we felt like, oh, but we're already here, so we might as well. And that could be a job, that could be a relationship. And so the first thing I would say to your question, the way we often respond to a situation like that, when we find ourselves in the distraction rather than in our purpose, is to beat ourselves up. Oh gosh, I knew better than this, or how did I fall? And that is so detrimental to then making the shift. My way of dealing with it is humor. I laugh at myself. I don't beat myself up. I don't punish myself. I'll go, look at you. Once again, you got suckered into the temptation of better pay or greener pastures or whatever it was that tempted you, when you already know that's not what you want. But whether it be the ice cream that is not good for your health, and you eat it, and then it's not about feeling guilty about it. It's mid-bite, taking that ice cream and chucking it. And I know that's wasteful, but the alternative is the same as the restaurant. Oh, but I already bought it. I might as well finish the entire pint or quart or gallon because it's already here. Chuck it. Start over. Every breath, I think, is another opportunity for us to take inventory and go, am I living in line with my values? Heck, do I even know what my values are? Have my values changed? Write them down, revisit them, just like the junk drawer in the kitchen. When you open it and you look at it and go, why in the world did I keep this? Well, because at the time it made sense to. Now does it make sense to? That belief, that value, that thought, that judgment, that opinion, it may have made sense 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday. But if it doesn't make sense today, chuck it, get rid of it, move on from it, evolve. Why are we so set on not changing our lives, but maybe waiting for life to change and then saying, oh, okay, I guess I'll change along with it? Does that make sense? That distinction between being proactive and being passive. Does that distinction make sense? Does anyone else have anything else to ask or contribute, or wave your hand and unmute yourself? Or, yeah.
Yep.
Mary is not, she's all over. She's like, Rah! Go ahead, unmute yourself, Mary. Or just poke us in the face.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm unmuted. All right. This might be so simple, and you might have already talked about it or gone around it. But how do you know your true purpose? How can you wipe away everything and get to the core of it? And I've only officially been in New Thought for about 3 years. It's been rattling around in my brain forever, but I found Awakening Ways 3 years ago, and now, concentrated on it. But how do you find your true purpose? How do you know?
So it's called Awakening Ways, I think, probably because it's ongoing. It's not awakened ways. It's not like, oh, I'm enlightened, I'm done, this is the end
Yeah.
of my journey. It's I'm in the process of awakening. It's ongoing. And it's not like you get to a place of knowing. The only thing I know for certain is that I don't know anything for certain. And again, what was true yesterday may not be true today. So how do you know? It's not so much like when I decided to leave Seattle and move to Hawaii, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I had no clue. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know where I was going to work. What I did know is what I didn't want. And knowing what you don't want is an equally helpful navigation tool. If that makes sense. If you're looking at a menu at a restaurant, you're like, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. Okay, what are you not in the mood for? Cross it out. It's really like the game of Sudoku. Many people have an aversion to it because it has numbers. So now there's Sudoku with letters if numbers freak you out, because there's no math involved. It's just numbers. But the way Sudoku works, you fill in the numbers 1 through 9. And it's not that you look at it and you go, that's the number that goes in that square. The way you solve Sudoku is you figure out what number can't go in that square. When you realize, oh, it can't be a 1, it can't be a 7, it can't be a... And then when you figure out there's only one number that can go in there, that's what you put in there. So that's kind of how I know what is my purpose today. I'm invited to speak at Awakening Ways. I'm invited to speak there. I'm invited to go there. My best friend just called and said, hey, do you want to go on a backpacking trip in Alaska? Yeah, but that's not really in line with my values, which right now I'm telling people stay home, be safe, avoid travel that isn't essential, etc. So I can't be saying that and then getting on a plane to Alaska because staying home is boring. That would be incongruent. That would be me creating my own internal conflict, saying one thing and doing another. So that's how I know if it's aligned, then I'm living in alignment and I'm creating harmony. If it's not aligned, then I'm creating disharmony. And then I'm the one who has to live with that dis-ease. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's not always about knowing or having the answer, but it's about getting closer to the purpose. It's about awakening. It's what my teacher said, there are no enlightened beings. The people we perceived to be enlightened, the Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Jesus, Martin Luther King, they're not enlightened beings. They simply made enlightened activity part of their daily lives. And I'm thinking, well, shoot, we can do that. Then we may be perceived, but it's an ongoing process of what is enlightened activity. It's activity, I believe, that is in line, congruent with our values. So it all goes back. You've heard me speak probably a few times. It always boils down to values. We can't live in line with our values if we don't know what they are. So start there, figure it out, write it down. You'll go to any website, any company, any organization, and they're going to have their core values listed on their webpage, right? This is what we believe in. Why don't we as individuals do the same thing? Write it down. In fact, before you make any decision. So a company does that because when they make business decisions, they cross-reference it with their core values. If a company says we are determined to be environmentally friendly and e-conscious and all of this, and then they are presented by a very tempting invitation, well, you can order all of your company's paper from such and such corporation, and it's half the price of what you're currently paying for paper. And that's very tempting, right? We're going back to the temptation. Cross-reference that with your values and you go, yes, it's tempting because it's cheap, but it's not made out of recycled paper. They're not paying the employees at the company enough salary to make a living. They're polluting the environment. They're contributing to the very thing we're saying we're trying to solve. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you recognize. If you don't have those core values to cross-reference with your invitations from the universe, then yeah, you're going to say yes to everything. Sure, I'll take that cheap paper. Sure, I'll buy that cheap toothpaste. Sure, I'll take this. I'll eat that. But is that in line with my value of health and integrity? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about someone else policing you, of an organized religion telling you. And I've had people, I kid you not, I talk about core values at every talk. And I had this woman come up to me and she goes, I don't know what my values are. Can you give them to me? I'm like, no, you need to figure it out for yourself almost daily. Just figure out what are my values and then am I living in line with them? So that's a very long answer to your question, but I think it's still in line with really what today's is about, is recognizing that life gives you what you want. I remember when I moved to Seattle, I met this guy who said, he was my yoga teacher, and he said, God didn't bring you to Seattle for you to fall flat on your face. And I was like, I wasn't at the time comfortable with the word God or anything like that. So I just took what he said with a big bowl of salt. But I said, would I have moved to Seattle just to fail? Or is failure up to my perspective and say, can I make the most of it? And Seattle wasn't the end all be all. It made sense while it made sense. And then I moved on to Hawaii, and Hawaii made sense while it made sense. And then I moved on to because what could be a gift one day could be a distraction the next. I'll give you the perfect example, of which I may have already talked about, but when I took the monastic vows, I initially put on the monastic robes. And in the monastery, that made perfect sense. I fit in with everyone. And when I left the monastery, but kept the robes, that which was a gift in the monastery was a distraction outside of it. All of a sudden, instead of me fitting in and my actions convey my beliefs, which is we're all the same, all of a sudden my robe said, look at me, I'm different from you. Mm-hmm. Now imagine if I was attached to the robes, like this is who I am, then taking them off would have been very detrimental. I would have felt that taking off my robes would have been untrue to my identity. The robes are in my blood. It doesn't matter what I wear. What I wear needs to convey what I believe, which is jeans and a t-shirt. I'm just like everybody else. Just, it was my own teacher who said, Timber, why the robes? Why can't you just be the guy in town with the bright eyes? And I think we can all do that. And our life is our message, whether you realize it or not. We're all out there giving Sunday talks, but if we're doing it with our behavior, our actions convey our priorities. All right. What else you got? Or am I out of time?
Where's I can't click.
No, you're not out of time.
We're not on. We're not on.
Yeah,
Are we on? Oh, okay. Maybe one more question if somebody has a question. If not, we'll move on. So fabulous this morning. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
I never know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to come out. Mm-hmm. I think that's another way for me to intentionally stay true to my purpose, is to allow what comes up to come up and trust that that's what needed to be said, or better yet, that's what needed to be heard. And I suspect each one of the 58 people who are logged in right now is going to walk away with something different. And that's the gift. It's not, oh, that's what you got. There's no judgment there. It's really an invitation for each of us to probably do the hardest thing for us to do, which is to look at ourselves and go, am I contradicting what I say I believe in? And can I, and the beauty is, can I change? Yes, you can get back in that car, leave Taco Temple. I really don't want to trash Taco Temple. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm just saying, just if it's not what you want today, go to where you want to be. Like there's that's what it's called. The sunken cost fallacy is, I believe, saying, oh, but to answer your question from earlier, I'm already there, I'm already stuck, then I might as well stay. That's sunken cost. It's done. That's what I say. You already bought the ice cream. Chuck it. You get, or I wouldn't even give it. It's just, I don't know. Just don't take another bite. It's when I decided to stop drinking. That was a huge moment for me. I had been reading for years, just like I forget who it was who said it. Mary, when you said like new thought has been in your head for a long time, but you haven't officially like quote unquote committed to it or put it on until 3 years ago. I had in my head for many years the idea that our physical bodies are like a jacket that our soul gets to wear. And the thing is, we only get one jacket per lifetime. That's how my teacher taught me, is like, you only get one jacket. So are you going to throw it on the ground when you come home? Are you not going to take care of it? Or are you going to be very mindful, put it on a hanger and put it away? And I had these teachings in my head, and I thought, well, that sounds really wonderful. And I really like that. Can I have another drink, please? Make it a double. And it's just, it didn't quite click yet. It was in my head, but it wasn't in my actions. And then one day, like any other day, I was at the bar down the street and I ordered my usual drink. But for whatever reason, that day, after I had ordered it, mind you, and it was sitting in front of me, I looked at that drink and I thought, man, if I can come up with one good reason to drink that drink, then I will drink it. That was more than 20 years ago. I still haven't come up with a good reason. So it's not about what you think is a good idea. Your beliefs don't matter. Your beliefs don't make you a better person. Your behavior does. I don't care what you wear around your neck, if it's a cross or a Celtic knot, or if you have a statue of Buddha in your front garden. None of that's relevant. Do your actions convey your beliefs? That's what matters. That's what eliminates your internal conflict, your dis-ease. It's not about how others perceive you. How do you perceive yourself? Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Timber. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Timber.
wisdom, for your grace, for your blessings. Appreciate it so very much. And so, Ron, if you would, you can move us into the music and we will enjoy that as well. Thank you again, Timber.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the
Thank you so much. What a remarkable morning, right? Wow. Lots and lots to think about. And I'm so grateful to Timber for sharing that time with us. You know, we're blessed to have him on our rotation here, coming in and speaking for us when he can. So thanks to Timber. Thank you to our musicians who, I'm trying to get this, who you know, each and every week just give and give and give and give and fill us and lift us and shift our vibrations and allow us to get back in alignment. I'm so grateful for that. Jim Townsend, you have stepped up again and now moving into these incredibly creative videos. Oh my gosh, that was like right, the visual image to go with the words that we hear. It's just beautiful. And Karen Wilkins, you know, I turned to Frank and I said, oh, she's just like the old fashioned torch singers, you know, where they would stand in front of the microphone and they'd be wearing the long gowns and they would just sing from their hearts and you would just melt. Just beautiful, beautiful music this morning. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Ron Gallagher, who pushes all those buttons and makes things flow so magnificently for us each and every week. We are truly grateful. Also, a big shout out and thank you to those who showed up yesterday at the office for our book and gift sale. Maybe you got some special things there. I hope so, because there were some beautiful things over there. Thank you for coming in and purchasing and supporting Awakening Ways in that way. And thank you to Jan Lynch, who steadfastly makes all of these things run so smoothly and makes it all happen. Also, you know, this is Thanksgiving, and we don't want to just do Thanksgiving at Thanksgiving. We always want to be consciously grateful, and we are truly consciously grateful for your love and your financial support here. It is, I can't even find the words of gratitude to express how we feel about your support. We are alive, we are well, we are showing up, and we need those gifts each and every week to help us pay for our bills and so on, and to not just continue to survive, but to thrive. And we are doing that thanks to you. So thank you for your ongoing continued support. Just a reminder to you all that we are a community that believes in the power of prayer. And like always, we like to remind you at this time that if there's something in your life that's up, that you need prayer support for, that you can send us an email and tell us what it is that you would like prayer support for. Make sure that you put in the subject line that this is a prayer request. We will hold you in prayer for a week. If you feel like you need continued support, then the next week just shoot us another prayer request and we'll continue to hold you in prayer. Also, a reminder, Frank mentioned this last week, that if you are requesting prayer for someone else, it's a good idea to just say to them, would it be okay if I prayed for you? Or would it be okay if I had our community say a prayer for you? 99 times out of 100, they're going to say, absolutely, yes, of course. In some cases, they may say, you know what, I'd rather not. And so we honor that. We honor that. The exceptions to this, of course, are children and any kind of emergency. Of course, we're going to pray immediately for those things. Also, probably your pets. You know, we do prayers for pets. So just a reminder that you want to make sure that you have permission. It's like you don't want to say, will you pray for my son or my daughter, and your son or daughter doesn't really appreciate or even want the prayers. And if that's true, then when we pray, there is an energy that is emanating from them that says, please don't do this. Please don't pray for me right now. I'm not ready to receive those prayers. So just a reminder, and we will continue to hold all those requests in prayer for you as part of our ongoing commitment in this community. A reminder also that the first Sunday in December, our ministerial student, Delan Richenberg, is going to be joining us as a guest speaker and sharing his wisdom on that Sunday. And then the following Sunday, the second Sunday in December, our own beloved practitioner, Jan Lynch, is going to be talking with us, and she has a new book out, and she's going to be talking about that and I know that book is available, and maybe she can send out another email this week because I don't have the information right in front of me for how to access that. So awesome. We have wonderful things coming up for you, and so grateful that you're here to be with us and to enjoy them as they come forth. And so with that, I would just like to close with just a little benediction and a blessing. You know, Thursday is Thanksgiving, and this is a Thanksgiving like no other Thanksgiving. You know, we have to put ourselves in a different mindset, don't we? Because it's not normal. It's not what we would normally do, and maybe it's not what we really want to do, and we're not really sharing them with all of the people that maybe we would normally in the past. But that's okay. That's okay, because it's a day to give thanks. It's about the Thanksgiving, and it's about the gratitude. It's not necessarily about who we're with, but how we're feeling and that energy of gratitude. And so I just want to thank each and every one of you right here and now for being part of this community, for being here with your energy and your love ongoing as we continue on. And I'm so grateful. I'm so very grateful. And so if you will, just allow your eyes to just softly close just for a moment. And take that deep, deep, full breath and let it out. And we move into a place and a state of gratefulness. And we feel our hearts open, and we feel our minds clear like a bright blue sky that's cloud-free. It's just open and shining with the sun. And all of our blessings just come to our awareness as we realize how truly, truly blessed we are. Blessed to be here right now. Blessed to have received what we received this morning. Blessed to have our health. Blessed to feel the joy and the love of those we love and those who love us in return. Blessed to live in this remarkable place where we live. We are surrounded by beauty, and we are just showered with blessings that we can't even name in this moment. And so in this perfect moment in time, we just open and imagine all of those blessings that are in our lives right now. And we say, yes, thank you, beloved. Thank you for all that is. Thank you for all that is on its way. Thank you for this life and so very much more. We are so truly blessed. We are so truly, truly thankful. So let it be. And so it is. Amen.